You are now listening to The Spearsy Spin with your host, Mike Spears.
Hi folks, and welcome to the Spearsy Spin for Wednesday, April 23rd, 2017. Well, the University of California at Berkeley is in the news again, and well, this time there appears to be concerns about the mayor in Berkeley possibly having ties to an extremist group. Well, look for more protest on Thursday in Berkeley because there are now questions that have been asked with regard to the mayor's possible ties to an extremist group that has the entire town there on edge. Author, conservative, talk show host, and Fox News contributor Anne Coulter has planned an appearance at the university in Berkeley, although now Berkeley has reassessed her invitation over security concerns. Law enforcement told Fox News that regardless if she shows up, there's a 99% chance that the college will erupt in violence. Now, there are unnamed sources that are helping the Berkeley Police Department prepare for a showdown over Anne Coulter's First Amendment right to free speech on Thursday. While it's not been made public, we understand, that would be we as in the press, I guess, that the governor in California is quietly looking to bring in other police departments as well as sheriff's deputies from the surrounding counties, doing that in an effort to try to keep the peace. But are universities across the fruited plain actually trying to use Stalinistic tactics to shut down anyone with an imposing view for making a speech? Well, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department met with the Berkeley police on Monday regarding this riot, for lack of better words, and authorities are preparing for the worst. The buzz in law enforcement from there in Berkeley has afforded the police a heads up with regard to the intent of extremist groups from all over the place heading to Berkeley. The cops also say that more than one source has advised them that these extremists are coming, and it doesn't matter whether Anne Coulter shows up or not. The next riot, possibly this Thursday, can turn out to be extremely bad, as police point out that the extremist will most likely try to wreak havoc and mayhem, and the local Berkeley folks are fed up with it. Result? Physical confrontation, possible casualties, and a city that's in chaos. Now, the sheriff's office also said that the folks there in Berkeley just don't feel protected by the police. Other sources say it is rumored that some might be taking up arms and possibly using other measures of force to put down what the residents there feel is a life-changing and life-threatening issue. The sheriff's office also said that because protesters felt police didn't protect them at the last riot, well, they have to protect themselves. There appears to be a deep discord between the Berkeley Police Department and the city government. Now, the city government is led by Jesse Arreguin. Now, Arreguin's a 32-year-old gentleman, and he's the newly elected mayor. And now he's facing his first real challenge in running a large city. Arreguin has been accused of being a member of the Facebook group By Any Means Necessary, or BAM, B-A-M-N. Now, BAM is an anarchist group that fans the fires of violent protest across the country. Yvette Fellerka is a BAM national organizer, and she was jubilant last summer after her group shut down a neo-Nazi protest in Sacramento, and 10 people ended up going to the hospital. "And we'll do it again," she said. "The Nazis had to run and hide behind the police." Now, in a statement to Fox News, Arguin distanced himself from Fellerka and BAM. Now, the mayor says, "I was following the particular group so I could stay up to date on what they are up to. I condemn their violent actions in the strongest terms." However, it appears that there are some in the Berkeley city government that think Mr. Arguin is part of all this rioting, and he is aligning himself with these extremists. These same government folks also say that the mayor comes from a deep leftist position. The mayor was criticized publicly for basically not allowing police officers to do their job during the April 15th Tax Day riot. Now, that riot resulted in 11 injuries, and there was also a stabbing. Now, opponents to the mayor say that police can't do their job because of the rules of engagement the mayor has in place. However, on the other hand, Mayor Arguin was quoted as saying, "We have to balance how we respond with the goal of trying to keep as many people safe as possible." The mayor did say that protesters who commit violence will be arrested in Berkeley no matter what. It seems, though, extremists have come to Berkeley to engage in destruction and violence, according to the mayor. A city official told Fox News that she's been receiving emails from concerned citizens, fearing that police officers are, they're just not doing enough to protect them.
Don't go away. We have to pay some bills. And then we're coming back with Mike Spears.
I know you're watching, so pay attention. You hate my freedom, my religion, and my country. You hate me for speaking my mind. You try to control me with violence and intimidation. You think you can muzzle me with fear? Don't ever confuse me for my politicians or my media. I am an American, free-born and free-bred, and I will call you out for who you are. An Islamic extremist who would kill me for my beliefs. You don't intimidate me. My freedom is more powerful than anything you can possibly do, and I will never, never surrender my rights to your terror. I will say what I think, worship according to my beliefs, and raise my children how I see fit, and I defend it all with the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. I cower to no one, because I am the National Rifle Association of America, and I am freedom's safest place.
Tell your friends and neighbors about the Spearsy Spin.
Today, the mainstream media gets their facts wrong. Those leaning far left aren't happy with the status quo. Americans have never seen this much disinformation being disseminated. Watch the news, then listen to The Spearsy Spin with political commentator Mike Spears. The Spearsy Spin, now on Google, Twitter, Facebook, thespearsyspin.blogspot.com, and YouTube. Many listeners refer to Mike Spears as the new Walter Cronkite.
So far, 3 Berkeley free speech protests have turned violent since February 1st. At least 33 people have been arrested and 30-some injured. The property damage from these clowns is over $110,000. Now, there are some who want Coulter to cancel her appearance and avoid further loss of property and maybe bloodshedding. But Arguin and the Sheriff's Department say they support her for standing up for her First Amendment rights. I fundamentally disagree with everything someone like Anne Coulter stands for, the mayor said, but in an open society, she has a right to speak, and students and community members have a right to peacefully protest her. Besides, says Officer Heel, who was a lieutenant with the Sheriff's Department, protesters will show up even if she cancels her speech. It's not going to make any difference if she cancels at this point, Officer Heel said. The extremists are going to come here, and it's terrifying. Okay, so that's the news perspective of this Berkeley thing, and now I want to add some talking points. For those of you who know me well, you know that I tend to be an analyzer. I tend to need and want facts. I also use my background in an effort to try to decide the truth while identifying hidden agendas. So, is there really this much dysfunction at the University of California at Berkeley? I say no. And here's what I truly believe is going on. Today, colleges across the fruited plain are made up for the most part of partisan liberal educators. It's a sad fact, but the numbers appear to support the theory. So when we go back 40 years and we look to see who was teaching our college-bound kids then, it seems all too clear that the liberals already had their foot in the door of higher education. Now, at 22 years old, if you graduated 40 years ago, you'd be 62 now. And depending on the indoctrination he or she received, this person would have come into contact with how many other people in the last 40 years. And if his views or her views are from the left, well, there you have it. It's just more the same, so to speak. But more importantly, what does his adult children or her adult children believe, or the grandchildren? Now, to put a much finer point on this, I can remember dealing with recent grads with an MSW that were either in a counseling position, school psychologist, or social services. And this was during a time when my vocation was one of which I had to deal with folks in those positions. Now, with that said, I don't mean to say that all these folks were far left-leaning liberals. As a matter of fact, many were Democrats, some of them leaned a little left maybe, but most had values that were in concert with liberal ideology, but within check. And a lot of them, although identifying as liberal, didn't really practice any of the liberal theories. Now, before I get attacked for using a broad brush to paint all liberals with, let me say that I've known and befriended many of the folks in the Democratic mindset and many that were liberal, and I still have many of these same friendships today. Politics is something we don't talk a lot about, obviously. But getting back to the liberal bias, which is not even the correct words to effectuate what I'm trying to say, the undertone within the liberal community, who hold an extreme hatred for all those who are not on the same side as they are, that has been a fight that has become worse and worse over the years. And you're seeing this being played out daily right here in the USA. I mean, take a look. Who's Nancy Pelosi? Who is Dianne Feinstein? Who is Representative Waters? Who's Miss Wasserman Schultz? Who is Barney Frank? And I could go on, but you get the idea. So what I believe is that an ideology that has failed to pay out in the last 40 years has finally come home to rest. The election of Donald Trump became the catalyst and the call for rebellion. But rebellion by who? And the answer to that is surprising, and some might say that it hinges on the edge of a conspiratorial theorist. Now, follow this. The liberals of today, in my opinion, while they are steadfast in their beliefs, are actually not the problem in America today. These folks have been sold on an idea of a utopia that will never exist, and even if it started, could never become self-sufficient. In short, chaos. Take a look at Greece. Well, who is it then behind these far-left actions? Is it the Russians? The Iranians? The Germans? How about those Jews? Or those damn Canadians? Well, this is the answer. The answer is communist. But not the communist of days gone by. Now, these are a new group of communists, and they're comprised of many nationalities. These are the very, very, very rich, ultra-rich people with demonstrated political powers. In other words, they either are in politics or they have enough money that they are influential in politics. Now, if the U.S. could be controlled, stifled, and put under a liberal regime, it would then be in a great position to be taken over. So, yes, my friends, the mindset is out there. So, going forward, when you hear of the craziness going on around you, like the rioting at Berkeley and everywhere else, and you ask yourself, why are these people acting like this? Well, might I suggest you listen to this show just one more time? Well, that's our show for today. Now, you know what we think. We want to know what you think. So visit us at thespearsysspin.blogspot.com and leave us your thoughts. Now, be professional, as well, we might want to use what you say in one of our upcoming shows. Remember, there's only one world. We all have to live in it. Thanks for being with us again today, and we will see everybody tomorrow.
Don't miss even one show. Subscribe to the Spearsy Spin now. Click that subscribe button and be sure to also click that bell next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified when we post new videos. Thanks for being with us today. Until next time.